Sorry, my video ran out of time. But no, what I was saying is this is actually part two to my first one I submitted. But no, what I was saying is you, you know there was a time where this is probably something I'll probably never forget. And I'm sure at the time my dad probably didn't really mean it too much, but it's something I'll probably never forget. And when I was younger, it hit me really hard, and I think this falls back on a lot of what I said earlier about uh, don't ever let anybody tell you cannot do something. And as far as like people's opinions of you, I think this is just really the epitome of it is don't ever let anybody's criticism or opinion of you stop you from doing something, because what my dad he had told me, like when I heard this, is really like just really stopped me from really having any dreams, and really stopped me from having any goals, and just really put me in the dirt. um, but no, at the time, I was probably about 14 or 15 years old, and uh, I actually might have been, yeah, I was about that age. And I was in court, and I was on a probation violation, and I was sitting in front of the judge, and my dad, he was in the little seats behind me, and I think I'm pretty sure I was about to go to jail. It was about to lock me up, and uh, the judge was talking to me and whatnot. I was responding and whatnot. And the judge had asked my dad, like, Mr. Myers, what do you think about all this? And like, what do you think about your son? And I'll never forget this. My dad said, well, I think he's worthless. And it was just like, I don't know, like at the time, like right then, like my heart just dropped. Like it was just like, like I had already dropped out of school, and I was already doing kind of bad, and I already knew I was on the kind of like the wrong road. But like after hearing that, it's just like as soon as I heard the words, worthless, like my heart just dropped, and like every single dream and goal got crushed. And um, you know, and it was those words that I remembered, daily throughout, the next 3, 4, 5 years. Like anytime I thought about myself doing something, or going and trying something, I just kept repeating back in my head, my dad, was telling me that I'm worthless, like it ain't gonna happen. Um, but at the time, it actually might not been something that he meant to say, or that he really meant. It might have something that just came out of his mouth. And to him, it was nothing. It didn't really phase him. And he probably didn't understand, how bad it really hit me. But at the time, I had this big old wall up, and I was about to tell him how I felt about it. I wasn't a little bitch or nothing. But it was just something that kept replaying in my head. And like I said, it just, anytime I thought about doing something, that's what I kept playing back. And what I'm saying, uh, is, it took me a few years, to get over that. Even now, I still look back, and it's pretty shitty to even think about. But um, it really took me a long time to get over that, and get over that opinion. And and like what I'm saying is, that that's really a really good epitome of it, is don't let somebody's critic stop you from doing something, because uh, I don't know. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse as of why I did all what I did, and why why I kept doing all the uh, wrong things, and I wasn't taking the right road. I'm not saying that's all the reasons, but I'm saying that was a big part of it. And and so don't let anybody tell you, don't ever let anybody uh, put an opinion on you, and it lets you affect you, is what I'm saying. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to just to throw some, criticism away, like it ain't nothing, and, throw opinions away that people have of you, just throw them away, not thinking anything of it. But, I mean, you really have to try, you really have to, stand back, look at it, and say, these people are just, they're nothing, um, because you are better than that, you really are. Um, and yeah, yeah, I know, I mean, everybody has this, this big impression of me, like I'm a big asshole and I'm a big dick, and um, I'm just, I don't know what everybody thinks of me, but someone explained to me the other day, she said, you put this big heart image, and I never really thought about it, um, until she told me that, but I mean, it's right, I do put up this big, really hard image. Um, I'm not really sure why. It's not that I'm trying to be something that I'm not. It's not I'm trying to, put on a different face. But uh, I don't know. It's just like it's like a habit. I enjoy expressing myself, but I feel like I go probably a little too far with it. As far as like putting up that big image and putting up the big hard image, like like I don't give a fuck about anything, um, and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, that's for another time to talk about, I guess. Uh, uh, but I mean, like I was saying, I was a pretty bad kid, and then I had I dropped out of school freshman sophomore year, and later on, I was just working a constant job, and I don't know. There was another moment that really that really changed my life. As far as my outlooks on life and morals and values and stuff like that. Uh, and really understanding that I was worth a lot more than I thought I was, and that I thought, like how I was going to come about and how I was going to start my journey. Um, and I'm sure the kid I'm about to talk about it. I'm sure he knows who he is if he watches this. But I don't know. There was a time when I was probably about 17 years old, and I was going to this performance shop. It was down the road. This one I had my Toyota Supra, and I was always taking my car to the shop. I was get worked on. I was working there every single day. Because I wasn't going to school. I dropped out, so I was working every single day. Every single paycheck I was dumping into my car, buying parts. Just like the typical car enthusiast. Just trying to make your car the fastest it can be. Um, but anyways, I was always buying parts for it. It was obviously always braking because I was always trying to go faster. But anyways, to get to the point of the story, I was always taking my car to the shop. Well, uh, as I was going there, I was always hanging out there, because I was pretty good friends with the mechanics and the owner and whatnot. Um, there was this kid that always came in. He was about my age, if not maybe like a couple years older, if that. And, he'd always come in, and he had this brand new car, and it was a brand new Evo. It was easily 30, 40, 50 that or like it was about 30,000, I say, give or take. And he'd always come in there, and uh, my first impression of him was he's some little rich kid. His parents bought him whatever he wants, and he just got dealt the lucky cards. Um, but anyways, he kept coming in, and I kept seeing his face a little more and more. And uh, one day I was there, and his car was there, and I noticed his license plate had bought by me. And I kind of laughed a little bit. I was like, whatever, man. This kid's a joke. He's just playing around. Um, but then I kept asking around, and I was like, kept asking me like, what does he do? Like, did he didn't buy that, did he? And, I was like, yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, he bought that himself, and he paid for it in cash. I was like, no. I was like, there's no freaking way, man. I was like, it's. that you just don't see that guy. You just don't see that kind of thing, and and so I kept asking around, and I was just kind of getting more of insight in like what he was doing. And, it was a lot of like online marketing, which I'm really into now. But anyways, so I started talking to him, and I found him on Facebook, and I asked him a few questions, and he had he responded back, and sent me this link. I started reading up on some stuff, and whatnot. Well, um, for like the longest time, as I was doing what he was doing, I was doing it. It just wasn't working out. I was losing a bunch of money, and um, I don't know, I just kept losing money, and just it was just a big like like discouragement. But along the way, he kept saying, just don't give up. He said, you just got to keep pushing. He said, uh, don't don't look as a failure, as a failure. He said, you have to look as a failure, in a positive way. And he said, you got to look at it as, um, it's not that you failed, but you've now found what not to do next time. And he like every single time I talk to him, he always have something crazy